Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Brittany Francis, and on behalf of the person that invited you to this, we want to say welcome to Testimony Tuesday. So, our technology is incredibly brilliant, and once a week, us as a family get together and we just invite each other to this call just to give each other a little bit of hope, to hear about what's happening in each other's lives, to hear what's happening for each other's family members, and to share what hope somebody can find with this incredible technology. So we really truly want to say welcome. This is really the foundation of everything that we do and everything that we talk about is to share what hope is on the other side. So with that, I quickly want to talk about LifeWave as a company, just so that just to give us a little bit of validity. Um, in the early 2000s, David Schmidt, who's our founder, which we're going to dig into a little bit deeper here shortly, David Schmidt was actually contracted by the US military to come up with something that the Navy SEALs could utilize that would keep them awake for 24 to 36 hours straight. Now, we're going to go into the science behind that, but for you to understand the validity, he did find an actual technology. He actually founded a technology that reflected a frequency of light back in the body. And the Navy SEALs began to utilize that technology and it worked. And so 9/11 hit, and obviously the funding needed to shift as to where our military funds went. And so David Schmidt knew that he was onto something incredibly brilliant when the Navy SEALs were able to utilize this. And so people started talking about this technology, and as people spoke, Stanford University got wind of it. They began to use this on their swimmers, and then their swimmers began to have some incredible responses to utilizing the technology over 20 years ago. And then after that, David Schmidt realized he was onto something incredibly brilliant with this technology, and he said, "Okay, what else can I do? Let me jump into the stem cell world." And that's where you start seeing changes and miracles inside the body. My husband actually, and we've been utilizing this technology for 21 months, and I was able to cancel an orthopedic surgery on my arm. My thyroid numbers came down to an incredible even number, which was amazing. My T3 and T4 fixed themselves, and you're going to hear about how the technology activated my body so my body could fix itself. And then, ladies, I was able to do jumping jacks and do all kinds of things after having multiple babies. And that was my miracle. And then my husband stopped snoring after 3 days, and he was actually severely anemic. And his anemia, his body actually fixed himself. So just absolutely incredible. So the technology absolutely works to the point where, and we're going to jump into this, but the energy enhancers that David Schmidt created over 20 years ago for the Navy SEALs, when he dug deep to understand how the body worked, he was on a mission to wake up stem cells. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is very, very real. LifeWave just won the Biotech Breakthrough Award in the Stem Cell Innovation of the Year. So this technology absolutely works. There's no question that it works. When we dig deep into the science of the technology before we share testimonies, you'll actually understand how it works. But I wanted to preface with this because if it's good enough for our Navy SEALs, it's good enough for you. This technology will work. It's not putting a drug inside your system. It's just activating your body. So every single person's testimony on this Zoom, they're always going to be different. This is not a normal disclaimer. This technology works on everybody, on everything, every single time, given enough time. Okay, so given enough time. So when we talk about stem cells, the reason why we say it works on everybody and everything is when your stem cells wake up, they begin to go to work and put a to-do list together. Now, why activation technology? Why are we talking about this stem cell activation technology? By the time we're 30, half of our stem cells actually they go to dormant. They go to sleep. And by the time we're 60, 90% of them are asleep. Okay. So the fewer stem cells that we have, the faster age, the slower that we heal. Why? Stem cells are the master building block of your entire body. Okay. It is their job to naturally repair and naturally renew. Stem cells are a hot topic. Okay, so the idea of activating our stem cells versus stem cell injections, that's something that's very difficult a lot of times to get past. Why? Right? Because where do they come from? Sometimes they come from the human body, sometimes they come from umbilical cords, sometimes they come from other places. And so because of that, it's a hot topic. So why not activate your own stem cells, right? So stem cells are undifferentiated cells, which means they have the ability to turn into whatever cell is necessary in the body to fix. So let's say that your stem cells are woken up and you have burned your hand on the stove. If you have awakened alert stem cells, your stem cells have the ability to turn into whatever it is that your hand needs to fix itself. So because they're undifferentiated, they can turn into nerve cells. They can turn into skin. They can skin cells. They have the ability to just go through and say, okay, this needs to be fixed, this needs to be fixed, this needs to be fixed, and kind of turn into and morph into whatever is necessary. So stem cells are definitely the place in the health world that scientists, that practitioners, that doctors are running towards because they see the power of this. Okay, so anti-inflammation. So obviously inflammation is a major deal. Whenever you have inflammation in your body, major problems start happening, right? And then also they help control the repair like we talked about, but they also are antimicrobial, which means that they have the ability to kill bacteria, fight viruses, parasites, etc., and then obviously energize. So really it's just incredible. Now back to David Schmidt, who's our founder. Again, I want to bring validity before we open this up for testimonies because I feel like it's really important. Okay, because it just sounds too good to be true. But when you realize, oh my gosh, biotech award, oh my goodness, the Navy SEALs utilize this technology, LifeWave. When you understand all those pieces and then understand David Schmidt and how he came to this technology, it all comes together because you kind of need to have everything married as one in order for it to really make sense. So, like I said earlier, he was contracted by the US military over 20 years ago to come up with that technology that would keep them awake for 24 to 36 hours straight. Well, it could not be a drug and it could not be a supplement. Okay. So they said, David, he was already working for and contracted for the military for defense weaponry. So they knew it was brilliant. So they said, David, we need something to keep them awake, but it can't be something that goes inside their body. So he began to look at the body and he found that scientists, well before him, years, hundreds of years before, even thousands of years before, that scientists had looked at the chemical reactions that the body actually has in front of light, right? So the sunlight hits our body, the body produces what? Vitamin D. So all these little pieces, David Schmidt really started studying, and there was actually different colors of frequencies of light that the body would have different chemical reactions in response. So he started studying all this. And then he really started looking at biophotons because inside us, the moment that we're conceived, light happens. I don't know if you know that, but light happens. So he really started studying the light inside our body and found that there's DNA chemical reactions when the light hits our body. Okay. Then, interestingly enough, he began to study. He was like, okay, if there's light inside us, we know that about infrared heat, right? Well, there's infrared light. And so he began to study the infrared light and he found that there was actually a red light frequency. Remember, this is over 20 years ago, a red light that when he found it, he actually reflected it back into the body because remember, the body has chemical reactions to light. He reflected it back into the body. The Navy SEALs utilized it. And guess what happened? Adrenaline started happening naturally. And then here you go. Here's the first ever photobiomodulation technology by LifeWave over 20 years ago, the energy enhancers. So this is still used. My boys use this in football. My daughter uses it in dance. This technology, when you put this on, the body naturally elevates adrenaline. Okay, so incredibly brilliant. So David Schmidt, he knew he was onto something incredible. So he began to use an FTIR, which just It's just a fancy word for a machine that he was starting to study all these different frequencies that the body would have. And he found a frequency that when reflected back, the body would lower cortisol levels. When reflected back, the body would elevate glutathione levels, which actually is incredible because those glutathione levels, what ends up happening, special needs children see amazing results. So, and the body can fight COVID and all these things. Well, he was like, okay, if I'm finding all these, eventually I'm going to find a way to wake up stem cells. And that is why you're on tonight, why you're going to hear the testimonies that you're going to hear. Because the X39 was found by David Schmidt back in 2018. It has over 70 global patents. It really got in the hands of the right people in 2020 and 2021. And this company just absolutely exploded because of the incredible results that people have when they put their body in the right state of mind. Really, truly. So this technology reflects a frequency of light back into the body, and the body naturally elevates a GHKCU copper peptide. And when elevated, instead of injecting, right, because this copper peptide is amazing, it's known as the holy grail of healing, okay? But instead of injecting where the body processes out injections, the body's naturally elevating this copper peptide. And in response, look at what ends up happening, all the way from lung protection, which people are seeing incredible results because of, long COVID issues, antioxidant, but then all the way to activating stem cells. And when you activate stem cells, miracles start happening. So that peptide is absolutely incredible. Okay, it's absolutely amazing. Now let me explain to you. I'm going to take off my patch. This is what it looks like. This technology, nothing is going inside the body. Okay, so it's literally, it is made in such a way that it's a fabric disc, that inside the disc are amino salts, sugars, and crystals. Nothing weird about that. They're just grinded down to a specific mirror image. So much that if you look underneath in a microscope, you can actually see the mirror image. It's incredible. And it just reflects that frequency of light back into the body. And then the body, in response to that light frequency, it elevates that GHKCU peptide. So you can imagine that there's actually like a dimmer switch that's inside your body, and then it just gets brighter and brighter and brighter, and more things happen because the stem cells more and more are waking up, and they're putting together a to-do list. So this is the long-term results, and this is per tons of case studies. You can even find them on thisisatinfo.com, and the person that invited you, if you're new, there's tons of case studies on this. It's incredible. And obviously, I mean, we won the biotech award. So I mean, it's obviously very real. But within the first few days, 4,000 genes begin to reset, which is incredible. Okay. Within 6 weeks, the brain becomes balanced. So PTSD, anxiety, depression, memory loss, tons of those different things happen there. And then within 3 months, a healthy collagen actually is increased for those that need it to be increased. So your body knows what to do. So if it doesn't need to be increased, it doesn't. If the body's saying, nope, this needs to happen, it does, because the body's going, okay, let's put together this to-do list of what needs to be fixed, and let's start fixing these things. And then the longer that people wear it, the more things happen, right? And so collagen is actually a matrix of your body. So the ability for our elderly to get up and out of a chair and to move, you start seeing an incredible change there. Okay. And then professional athletes see amazing results around that time, because what ends up happening is that their body is able to fix itself much more quickly. And so we have a lot of professional athletes that utilize this technology. And then within 6 months, it is clinically proven that the cardiovascular age of the heart actually reverses. Okay, so clinically proven. My father-in-law, April 19th of last year, put this patch on. 4.5 months later, he was dancing in Spain. Prior to that, he could barely walk. He was actually in heart failure. So it's just absolutely incredible. This is not anti-aging. This technology is literal age reversal. Now, the newest clinical study actually shows, after 3 years of research, that at the mitochondrial level, which is becoming a very popular topic in the medical world, at the mitochondrial level, what they're seeing at the telomere level, that the body is actually lengthening at a healthy lengthening at a natural lengthening where the body actually reverses an age by an average of 8.5 years utilizing this technology longer than 6 months. So it's absolutely incredible. So there's nothing going on inside the body. It's just phototherapy, okay? It's just that the body is activating. So there's nothing going inside. That's how I should have said. There's nothing going inside the body, transferring into the body. The body's accepting that light frequency from itself with that mirror, and then it's starting to activate. So it's non-dermal, non-transferable. If you're on a medication, it's not going to get in the way of the medications. I had the thyroid condition. I was on levothyroxine and a synthroid. And my body, I was told I was going to have to be on the medication for the rest of my life, but something around day 47 felt a little bit strange. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, Brittany, you've got to stop doubling up your medication. I said, I'm not. Well, I was able to be taken off of my medication because my body fixed itself. So it's absolutely incredible. It's extremely sophisticated, but very, very simple to explain. The technology merely activates your body, and then your body begins to go to work. And so just love it, love it, love it. What I would love to do is I'd love to call on, I got a couple of text messages, and then I would just love to open it up for many that are on here. Brandy, if you could actually open up, because I see your beautiful face, if you could actually share, and because I got a text message earlier that you would like to share, and then whoever else can share. Can you all hear me? No, it's not
Does anybody know what's going on?
everybody. Sorry, my internet went completely out. Can everybody hear?
Yep, it was her.
Can everybody?
Yeah, we can.
Oh,
Yes.
I can
good.
hear you now.
Okay, well, good.
So
We
you
only
never did get an
Welcome back.
email for the password?
I saw beautiful Brandy's face. I called on Brandy and I was like, she's frozen. No, everybody's frozen, but I'm not. So, all right.
Okay.
So let me get back with Brandy. Brandy, I would love to call on you because I got a great text saying that you would love to share. So, Brandy, go for it.
Can you hear me and see me?
Yes, I can. And you're not frozen.
Okay, good. My camera's not where my computer is, so it's a little weird. Anyway, um, so I just realized that this next Monday will be 6 months that I've been using this amazing technology. I live in Central Texas, a little north of Austin, and I just turned 50, and I have an 8 and a 10-year-old at home. So there's a lot that goes into that, but I'm trying not to be 50. And my body was doing the opposite. So I was really wondering how the next, 40 years were going to go. It just seemed all downhill. And so anyway, as far as what happened with me, I had a few things that were great. Nothing miraculous to some people, but for me, they were. I had a knee problem I'd been dealing with for a couple of years that the doctor couldn't figure it out. Shots didn't get me through a long enough period. He said that I was needing them too often. He had recommended stem cell therapy, and I didn't have that in my bank account. So when this came to me, it was great because day one of patching, my knee quit hurting. It didn't give out, it didn't hurt, and I expected every day for that to come back and that it was just temporary. Maybe it's getting better and it's going to hurt and it's going to give out, tomorrow or today. It didn't happen, and it hasn't. Um, I've started working out because of that. I walk and I run every morning, and something else that was miraculous was I'd been dealing with insomnia the last 5 years, and I homeschool my kids and I have a business I run from home. And sometimes I wouldn't sleep until 7 in the morning, till 10 in the morning. And that's only 3 hours. And it's making the day shot when you get up at 10. So it was wrecking my whole family. That in itself, not getting sleep, it just wrecked our schedule. But that came around 3 to 4 weeks. I've been sleeping incredible, which helps my body to heal, makes our schedule better. I feel great when I get up. I work out in the mornings. We work out together, and it's just changed our family's life. Um, and I know that you think about the people that are going around driving with lack of sleep, and they're next to us. I mean, it's really scary, that nobody's really sleeping and that it affects a lot of people. If we just talked to everybody about the patch about sleep, it would be worth it. Something else that happened right around that time was the brain balancing definitely was noticeable. I think everybody notices that, but I also had dealt with a brain injury in 2011, and it had definitely changed me, and I had a chemical imbalance due to that. And I had very short patience. I could fly off at the drop of a hat. I felt like I had 100 plates spinning all at once. And so to get that evened out, to be able to focus, to be calm, to be able to have ambition and drive and I mean, just name it all. Name it all. My kids are much happier because I'm happier, and that goes a long way. Around month 4, I no longer needed my distance glasses for driving, and my eyes that I'd had dealt with dry eyes since 2004, no longer had issues. So, like I said, none of this is, walking after being in a wheelchair or anything like that. But I think these are things that most people deal with on a daily basis. My daughter had 2 teeth extracted this week. When the numbness wore away, she asked for an ice wave patch, and you would have never known she had anything done. She went along with her day just like normal. And it's just those little things like that on a day-to-day basis that these help us in a lot of ways. And I love, love, love that I can help other people feel better alongside my friends and my family. And that is very rewarding. And it's just a gift. And I will use this as my multivitamin for the rest of my life.
Oh, I love it. Well, I hadn't heard some of those pieces. So, Brandy, I love it. Thank you for sharing. I just love hearing and I love seeing your face because you look brighter and brighter every time I see you. So, um, I wanted to actually call on Mary Lou. Is Mary Lou on here? She actually shared a few days ago, and I had not heard. There she is. Mary Lou, could you turn on your camera by chance? I see your name. I don't know if she's ever unmuted before. She shared a testimony in Richmond. I'm going to give her a minute to figure out the unmute button, but Mary Lou, you'll just tap your screen and hit unmute. Oh, there she is. Okay, I see that.
Okay, but I'm not showing my face because I've been in the gym and I'm not ready to give a testimony. but God's still good. Okay, so my name is Mary Lou. I live in League City, Texas for the last almost 7 years. I'm 74 years old. 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with hyperparathyroidism, which causes severe osteoporosis. And I didn't tell you last week, but it also causes mental, almost like Alzheimer's. And so I was fighting a lot of brain fog too. So the doctor said, you need surgery. And I said, well, okay, well, we went and did all the tests. All the tests were coming up that indecisive. So I said, I'm going to give it a year. By that time, the Lord had told me he was going to heal me. And so I just kept going to the gym and exercising and taking the bone density medicine, but you can't take calcium because you got way too much calcium. That's the parathyroid problem. And in June of 24, I had tests done, and my parathyroid was up to 96, and the high is 77. And so I just thought, okay, well, check it in a year. Well, I started the patch, only the X39, and I started that April 4th, and I really wasn't noticing that much. In 2 months, my back was a lot better. I definitely was thinking sharper. I was less anxious. And so I just kept working, just on the patch and going to the gym, trying to eat right. I had lab work drawn October 29th, and that's what I showed you, Brittany. It literally made me cry because it was an answer to prayer. My level was at 44, which is mid normal. I showed it to my PCP this last week, and the only word she had for it was, wow. And I said, so you want me to send you some information about this patch? And she agreed. So there we are with that. But then on the 3rd of November, I had a density test. Now I've had that for 25, 30 years, these bone density tests. And they just get worse and worse and worse, to the point that the doctor at one point, since I wouldn't have surgery, said I absolutely could not lift weights. Well, by that time, God had told me he was going to heal me. The doctor said my bones will crumble if I lift weights. And so I kept lifting the weights because I figured I'll take care of it if whatever God's going to do. So I don't recommend you go against your doctor's wishes, but I was doing the weightlifting and I wasn't having problems with it, so I kept doing it. 6 months later, he said, well, your muscle structure's okay. You can go ahead and lift weights. Then I got those bone density done November 3rd. For the first time in my life, I had gained bone mass. Now it was 0.7 added bone to my hip, 2.2 plus bone to my back, and I've noticed that. But that wrist, which is where the severe osteoporosis is, had increased in just 7 months with only the X39, 8.2%. Now, that's an answer to prayer. It's a continual progressive healing, and it's all glory to God. Thank you for letting me share.
Mary Lou. Oh, I just love it. This is why I was like, oh my gosh. I said, Mary Lou, Testimony Tuesday. We got to hear your voice. Testimony Tuesday. If we don't see your face, Mary Lou, it's okay. So just
Tomorrow.
you are beautiful, by the way, when we were able to see her in person. So just a beautiful person inside and out. So thank you, Miss Mary Lou. Um, so next I'm going to call on and then we're going to open this up, but I got quite a few text messages today. So that's like so exciting. So next we're going to actually call on Heather. Heather Moore, if you could unmute yourself. And there she is. There she is.
Hi.
Hello.
My name is Heather Moore, and my best friend Jane Brown, I know you're on there, Jane, introduced me to this technology. Um, I have eczema, allergies. I take allergy shots. Actually, I had uncontrolled eczema at the time. So when she introduced me to it, I was like, I'm kind of desperate. I've tried the creams, medication. At that point, I was just willing to try anything. So um, the first couple days, I noticed that I never knew I had brain fog, but that lifted and mental clarity kicked in pretty quick. So that was awesome. I'm also a very light sleeper, so it took a while for the Eon patch to work. And then I also started Alavita, so X39 during the day, and then Alavita and Eon at night. The Alavita was great. I would put it on my right temple and I could just feel my body calm down. And then because I'm a light sleeper, I've been a light sleeper for years. So I think after maybe 3 or 4 weeks is when I started really sleeping really well, vivid dreams, you name it. So it's been actually a great game changer for me. Um, and then my eczema is slowly healing. But I've had eczema since I've been born. So I'm just being patient with that. I have been patching for about 5 months now. I also have an autoimmune disorder, vitiligo. And so I do have so vitiligo is where the melanin in your skin turns white. And so I've actually had this disorder for probably, I would say maybe 20 years. It started slow and then it would just kind of randomly appear in different places on my body. So actually I didn't think I would notice a slight change in that, but I also was using prescription creams. I was doing laser treatment therapy, but then I had issues with going to the laser treatment therapies once or twice a week. I had to drive during work and then miss work and come back. And so I finally just kind of had to stop doing the laser treatment. So I even stopped those treatments probably 2 months before Jane introduced me to the patches. So yeah, one day I just kind of looked at my arm and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I actually have a little bit more pigment back in my skin. And so I took a picture. Jane said to take pictures. So I took a picture kind of close to when I start, maybe a month after I started patching. And then I took another picture in October. And then, yeah, there are some spots that are coming back. So it's pretty amazing considering it's an autoimmune disorder. So I'm patching for life. All my kids patch. My daughter patches. She's like right behind me. She loves Testimony Tuesday, by the way. My son uses the patches. He's very athletic and does sports, so he does X39 and X49 together, and then wears the Eon patch at night. And then my husband also patches for his knee. He's bone on bone. And then he's noticed a big change in sleep. So all great things. They may not be like huge, 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 but they're definitely some miracles and game changers in our family. So that's
Oh,
it.
Heather, we have not been able and I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, I'm just so grateful that you shared tonight because that, gosh, I mean, come on, vitiligo. I mean, and we've seen quite a few testimonies with vitiligo, but to hear it from somebody that we know is just that is just so neat. So, Miss Natalie, I am so excited for you to share. I'm like, oh my goodness. And we're going to open it up for more testimonies. If anybody else wants to share, start clicking a react button and then raise your hand. So, Miss Natalie.
Hello, thank you for having me, Brittany. I'm excited to be here. I heard the word stem cells and I wanted to jump in right away. Due to my husband getting stem cell injections in his knee and stem cells rebuilding his knee, his torn meniscus, his torn MCL. And then my mother-in-law had stem cell transplant and is now in remission from cancer. So I knew stem cells worked. And I jumped on the patch about 7 months ago. Started in March, the very end of March. I started with X39 and Eon. And the reason why I started this journey was because I was on a quest to find something natural. I did not want to go on medication for my Hashimoto's, which is a autoimmune disease. And I was also looking for something for my blood. I was running thick blood, which I believe is from long COVID. I'm not sure. So I jumped into patching, and within the first 30 days, my back stopped hurting. I've been seeing a back doctor since high school due to cheerleading and sports and all that good stuff. And I have slight scoliosis. My back stopped hurting within the first 30 days. Brain fog was lifted. And then my husband also jumped on the patch. At that time, his stem cells were going dormant. We didn't know that, how that all worked. So he jumped on the patch after 3 years of, after the injections, his knee started hurting again. So we found the patches right in time. He started patching as well. Within that first 30 days, he was able to move his knee in a way that he wasn't able to again. And we did ice wave patches like twice, and that pain never returned. Then 3.5 months in is when he felt complete. His knee was completely stable again, so it felt perfectly fine, no pain. And then I also had plantar fasciitis, which was horrible pain. And 3.5 months in, I would say my pain was gone. At 4 months, I went to go do blood work, and because I was due to see the hematologist for my thickened blood, I went to get my blood work done, and blood work was normal, no more thickened blood, and also my Hashimotos had gone down. I was at like 75. It's supposed to be at 35. I was 1 point away. So I'm at 36. I'm sure now it's fine. So my doctor wanted to know more. She said, "What did you do? What are you taking?" Told her about the patches, and she told me I want to know more. And so now, 5 months in, I'm seeing just more energy. I'm sleeping well. My eyes have improved. My readers, I went down a little bit. So I'm 50 now, and I feel great. And also, I think I covered it all actually.
I love it. Oh, Natalie, and you look beautiful. You're just glowing, glowing, glowing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, I love that. Oh, and Dalton, I see your beautiful wife. Dalton, I see you guys. Dalton shared, he's on mute, but he shared a beautiful testimony about his precious wife a few weeks ago. And I don't know if he can unmute, but praise the Lord, Dalton. We hadn't seen your wife before. So we he's trying to unmute. But like I said, guys, this is a family on Tuesdays. We just get together as a family, and we were able to celebrate Dalton having his sweet wife with him. You just click that little unmute button at the very bottom. Is there anybody else that would like to share?
Okay,
Oh, there
okay.
he is. There's Dalton.
Yes, it's a blessing to be with you. My goodness, to hear all these wonderful testimonies and just give praise to God for everything He's doing. This is my dear wife, Deanne, and most of you probably don't know, but anyway, we've been involved with LifeWave for a whole since October the 15th of this year, and on October 13th and 14th. My daughter and I thought my dear wife was going to be going to heaven. There was only we could see her breathing, but that was it. Well, here she is. Here's my wife. And tonight we were just so blessed to sit at the table, and she was feeding herself and drinking Dr. Pepper and needing a refill for Dr. Pepper. And now this is all major stuff to us. Yeah, and so we just praise God for we can have conversations again like we used to, and you can ask questions, and she can crack her jokes like she used to. And the ladies who bathed her on Thursday told her the other day, said, "Dan, you are so strong," and she quipped, "You're baloney." Well, that's baloney. That's what she said. That's baloney. So anyway, and as far as I'm concerned, I've got more life than I've had in years and years. And I'm so excited about being alive and being able to do all that I do. I went to the cardiologist last week, and he said, "Wow," he says, "your tests all just are normal or above normal." My goodness, for your age, yes, it's a miracle. It's a miracle. He says, except one thing. He says, it looks like your heart is showing that you're getting older, a little stiff or something. So anyway, I imagine in time that's going to be softened up too, and God will get that all straightened out. So yeah, we're just in a state of rejoicing and telling the world about. I said I live with two purposes in mind at 90, and my wife's 87. Two purposes in mind. One is to let the world know about Jesus, our Lord and Savior, and the second one is to inform them about this opportunity to maximize their health uh, God's way, because God's doing it all through these patches. And thank God for David Schmidt and his gifts that God gave him to do what he did and does, and just all the people involved. I mean, the people are involved in this organization. We're all probably there because we have seen the results. And I'm telling my people, I said, all you have to do is try it, and then keep a record of it, and then next thing you'll do, I'll put you on Preferred Plus, and you'll be a member, and then from there on, you're going to see the results yourself, and then you'll want to take the next step and be a brand partner. So that's kind of what we're doing, and it's a lot of fun, and it's fun to see people who are doubtful, like my sister. She just said, "Well, Delta, I'm going to go with the doctors. You just let me be." Well, I said, "Okay, I'll put you on hold." Well, today I got a little note from her, and she says, "I looked at one of those videos you sent, and man, that was interesting. How much did it cost?" Well, then I told her about my cousin Rose, who she's had all kinds of issues out in Mesa, Texas, and I got her on it. So she said, I said, "This is what Rose paid, and this is from her receipt." And so I just told her what it's going to cost her, and this month, and then it's going to be cheaper the next 2 months because she's already associate member or something. What is that? $25, whatever. So that's the story.
Well, my goodness, look at that. Dalton finished it for me. I love you, Dalton. We love you guys. We have not stopped praying for you. I know this whole family that we're all on here, and if y'all are new, you're coming on with the family, okay? We all just love each other. We get to rejoice with each other, and the testimonies are just unending. They're just unending. So Dalton, you're just your wife is a miracle, and we're just so grateful to do life with y'all. We're just so incredibly grateful. So just thank you for sharing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just so y'all know, the GHKCU peptide, when elevated, also helps your animals. So that peptide is absolutely incredible. So this technology, actually, you put this technology on, okay, and then you take it off. You can put it on your dog if you love your dog, okay, and your dog will start having incredible results. And then you're just going to throw it away and put a new patch on the next day, because this is activated by your body heat, and 12 hours on, 12 hours off, because remember, it's your body that's doing the work. It's activated by your body. It reflects that frequency, but your body needs to rest. Okay, so 12 hours on, 12 hours off, put on your turtle or your dog or whatever. and then throw it away and put a new patch on the next day and watch what ends up happening. Like Dalton said, it's just everything is always a matter of time. But just start tracking all the things that end up happening. Now, there is a documentary about David Schmidt called The Code of Creation. Oh my goodness, it's incredible. And so it talks about how the science came about from his research in the Hebrew Bible. It's just all very, I mean, you cannot fight the science. It's absolutely incredible. And then if you say, well, I wanted to hear about stroke or I wanted to hear about this, every single week we have all kinds of different testimonies. This is at info.com. If you want to hear more testimonies, you can go and you can visit, you can tap. Next Tuesday, hopefully you'll get your patches and you already have a testimony to share with us. That's what our prayer is and our hope is. And so, but this is there for you. So screenshot that. And then we do have multiple Zooms of doctors actually discussing this technology because some people feel better than a lady like me across the screen explaining the science. Some of them really want to hear about doctors. And so if that's the case, then you can have access to that because between that and this, it's really honestly in the biotech award, this technology is bulletproof. Okay, so this is at info.com is there for you to see the patents, the studies, and this really becomes our miracle inbox. And so really, if you're sitting here today and you're like, well, maybe you're going to get the miracle. It works on everybody, on everything, every single time, given enough time. 70% of people feel a miracle between 5 minutes and 5 days. 97% of people feel, I need you to hear this, a miracle within 90 days. So, like my husband, he wanted his back fixed. That's not what happened for 4.5 months. He stopped bleeding internally. Okay, now he did not care so much about the bleeding. He wanted his back to be fixed, but his body fixed the internal issues first. So a miracle. So as that dimmer switch gets brighter and brighter, more things are going to happen. So just give it the time that it deserves. You can wear it and share it like some talked about, and you don't want to purchase this through anywhere else but through the person that invited you to this or sent you this because the only way to get the technology is through a brand partner because the way that Lifeway protects the technology, it is shipped a very specific way, believe it or not. It's packaged a very specific way. And in 90% of the time, if somebody is trying to sell it, it's because they've already been used or they're not real and they're from China. And so the other 10% are people that might have put them in their pocket or something and they're already activated. So you want to go through the person that introduced you to this. So you can just get back to the person that invited you. For $99 a month, you can be a preferred customer. And for the additional $25, like Dalton was saying, you can be a preferred plus customer and you can get all kinds of little free things here and there. Or if you say, you know what, no, I have multiple people in my family that need to wear this technology, we suggest to do a core. The core or the advanced plus or premium because that gives you multiple options of a package and you can actually mix and match the patches. So if the ice wave blocks pain immediately and the person that introduced this to you tonight, they'll get you, the ice wave if you need to block pain while the stem cells are doing what they need to do. Or, the Eon patch that helps you take down inflammation so that the stem cells can travel faster. We can package it all together in a really beautiful way and you can see the miracles that are happening. You'll be able to see them. So, guys, what I would say is that what an incredible night tonight. Thank you everyone for sharing. I will be uploading this and probably fixing the internet issue and marrying everything together and so that it's one beautiful presentation. And so if you're watching this, I would just say, get back to the person that invited you to this or sent you this because there are so many miracles that are in store for you and all the people that you know and love. So with that, God bless every single one of you and have an incredible evening. This will be on at Top Tier LifeWave tonight. And so we'll put this on and you can share with all the loved ones that you know desperately need this. So with that, take care and God bless.